Hey guys, Miss Fearing here. We're going to go ahead and look at Unit 4, Notes 5. We are going to multiply monomials by polynomials. So here's what you're looking for. First things first, are there any parentheses? If there are parentheses, remember, that tells me that I am going to distribute. So I'm going to multiply the numbers that are outside in. Then you have to determine what is the operation asking. Okay, well, when you're distributing, you know that you're multiplying. But sometimes you're going to be doing some addition and subtraction. So basically, you're going to multiply or distribute through, but then you're going to combine like terms if you have them. Okay, and so remember, when you combine like terms, the powers don't change at all. But when we multiply, we add the powers. So that's kind of what you have to determine based off of, are you multiplying or are you just combining like terms? So let's look at this first example. We're going to distribute this power through here first. So we're going to take that 6y and we're going to multiply it to every single thing. Now remember, if there isn't a power, it's an imaginary 1. So because we're distributing, that's multiplication. When you multiply, we add the powers. Remember, we did this before, this last quiz. When you multiply the big numbers, add the little numbers. So 6 times 4 is going to give me 24. Y to the 1 times y squared is going to give me y to the third. I'm going to do 6 times negative 9. It's going to give me negative 54. Y to the 1 times y to the 1 is going to give me y to the 2. 6 times negative 7 is going to give me negative 42. And then I have that y, so I have to carry that over. Because this is a y to the third, a y squared, and a y, these are not like terms, so I can't combine them, so that's my final answer, and I'm done. Let's look at this one. I'm going to distribute each of these and multiply it by negative 2x squared. So negative 2 times 3 is going to give me negative 6. X squared times x squared. Remember, I add those, so I'm going to get x to the fourth. Negative 2 times negative 7 is going to give me positive 14. I have an x squared and an x to the 1. So I'm going to get x to the 3. Negative 2 times 10 is going to give me negative 20. And then I had that x squared. I have an x to the fourth, an x to the third, and an x squared. None of those are like terms, so I cannot add those together. Number 3 here, 5a squared that we're going to distribute. So I have 5a squared times negative 4a squared. So I'm going to get 5 times negative 4 is negative 20. A squared times a squared, we add those, so I get a to the fourth. 5 times 2 is going to give me 10. A squared times a is going to give me a to the third. And then 5 times negative 7 is going to give me negative 35. And then I have to carry that a squared. I have an a to the fourth, an a to the third, and an a squared. None of those are like terms, so that's my answer, and I'm done. Now we're going to change it up just a little bit. I have 2 sets of parentheses. So I need to distribute the 4 to the first set and this negative 1d to the second set. So let's do that. I have 4 times 3d squared, so I'm going to get 12d squared. I have 4 times 5d, so I'm going to get 20d. Now I have a negative 1d times d squared is going to be negative d to the third power. Negative 1d times negative 7d is going to give me positive 7d squared. Don't forget that you're adding the powers. Negative 1d times 12 is going to be negative 12d. So now when I do this, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to write this from biggest exponent to smallest. So I have a negative d to the third. Now when I look at my d squareds, I have a 12d squared plus a 7d squared. So I know that I'm going to get 19d squared. Don't change the powers once you're adding them together. And now I have a positive 20d minus 12d. So I'm going to get plus 8d. None of those are like terms, so that is my final answer. Let's look at that problem type again. So I'm distributing the 3 to everything here and the negative 1x to everything here. So 3 times 5x squared is going to give me 15x squared. 3 times 2x is going to give me 6x. And 3 times negative 4 is going to give me negative 12. Now I have negative 1x times 7x squared. So I'm going to negative 7x to the third. Negative 1x times 2x is going to give me negative 2x squared. Negative 1x times negative 3 is going to give me positive 3x. So now we're going to combine our like terms. I have that x to the third. I just have negative 7x to the third. x squareds, I have 15x squared and negative 2x squared. So I'm going to have plus 13x squared. I have a 6x plus a 3x. So I'm going to get plus 9x. And then I have this minus 12. None of those are like terms, so that's my final answer. Last example here, we're going to distribute this 3 to everything here and this 6m to everything there. So 3 times 2m squared is going to give me 6m squared. 3 times negative 4m is negative 12m. And 3 times negative 15 is going to be negative 45. Distribute the 6m. 6m times 5m is going to be plus 30m squared. 6m times 2 is going to be plus 12m. So now we're going to combine our like terms. So I'm going to go with my m squareds first. So I have 6m squared and 30m squared. So I'm going to get 36m squared. I have a negative 12m and a positive 12m, so those cancel out. I could put plus 0m, but I don't need to. And then I have minus 45. Those are not like terms, so I can't put them together. So that is all for this assignment. If you have any questions, come chat with me. Otherwise, good luck.